Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching that earwax removal video today. Just one patient in this video. Oh, bless him, this poor pig. He was such a lovely, he was absolute character, this guy. He was so funny. But what you had here is a very, very blocked up ear canal. Poor gent does use hearing aids, found them absolutely no use at the moment, couldn't hear a thing. They were whistling like Billy-O and really just struggled to hear. Now what you can see is a difficult one to watch this one because you've got a lot of hair in the ear canal here and the wax itself contains a lot of hair. Now we've got this very thick, sticky clay type earwax really adhering to the canal walls. Now mixed in with that, you've also got all the hair clippings from the outside part of the ear as well. So we've got all this sticky, you can see little bits sticking out at the top there. There we go. You can see all tiny little bits of hair, all embedded inside the wax. So it's binding this together. So as you're pulling on one section, all those hairs are kind of holding everything else in. So we're just working our way around this ear canal. You can see a little bit of dry skin there to the top right corner. And we're using the Jobson horn a lot here. Now what you will see is now it's a little bit more mobile. So what we have is a little bit of flexibility in the wax. So as we're pulling this front section, what we've effectively done is sort of unraveled the section behind it. But it's stuck at the bottom of the canal, but the top portion is quite mobile. So as we're putting pressure on it, when we try and go over the top of the wax, what's happening is effectively it's pushing the wax backwards all the time rather than us getting behind it to draw it forwards. So it's really starting to come away. There we go. Now we're starting to loosen this up a little bit. And you can see now why we're just sort of very, very gently starting to pull down on the wax, sort of draw this forwards if we can. Patient, to say the patient was a bit of a character. He talked quite a lot through the actual removal, which is why you'll see the camera doing this a lot. Because when we talk or yawn or chew, our temporomandibular joint, which is just below our ear canal there, moves. And when that happens, the ear canal does this. Now, you could tell your patient, please be quiet while we do this procedure, but a lot of patients like to talk their way through it. It's a way of making them feel more comfortable and engaging with you as we're doing it. And I like to talk to the patient as well. So I don't mind a little bit of jaw movement, a little bit of ear canal movement. Obviously, if it was really going, then we'd say to the patient, would you mind just keeping your jaw still just for this next sort of two minutes to get this bit done. But as it is, we go all right in this one. We've managed to draw this out. You can see like a little sort of hairy wax hedgehog, if you like. It's all kind of sitting and sticking out all over the place here. So quite a big chunk of wax. Patient could hear a massive difference when this came away. You could really, really feel the difference as well. So just starting to take this last little bit away. That movement we talk about with the jaw as well is more noticeable when you're on the outer part of the ear canal because that's the really flexible part. So this is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like after. So you can see a massive difference for this particular patient. We're going to go in now with the other ear canal. Now that first ear canal there, the wax stayed together really, really well. Those hairs bound it together nicely. It did unfold a little bit, which made it a little bit more awkward. But then when you could get behind that rear section and bring that forwards, the whole plug came out. Very, very different story now in this particular ear canal. Now, because this particular patient has these hair clip-ins in this one we have lots of blocks of sticky wax and we have a very, very prominent piece that sticks just right up in the canal, which was really, really difficult to get behind. So this one, whereas the other section came away, the wax came away really, really well in one big chunk. In this one, it's going to come away in lots and lots of little tiny pieces. What also made it a little bit more awkward is you'll see these two sections that we've got here, just right and left of the suction tube there. They were basically two flaps of dry wax that had come out on opposing canal walls, so migrated out really, really well, but stayed quite solid. And what they were doing was folding down all the time. So I've got to get rid of those first because it does obscure the view. You're competing with the hairs in there, but you're also competing with these pieces of dry wax coming across on the sides as well. So we're going to get the Jobson horn behind this rear section. You can see I'm just folding down the section in front, dropping a little bit further behind, folding down again, dropping behind. So just constant movement just to bring this down. We've slowed this down, so we've got a nice big thick chunky bit. Unfortunately, because it hasn't dried as much as the other side, what's happened is the Jobson horn's just pulled straight through the center of it, which isn't ideal in this case. If you had a much wider ear canal, not a problem. You can go in there with a suction tube and you can kind of move this. But the little tiny hairs, why do you think suction is going to struggle with this particular block of wax? So you can see it's pulling down here. Have a little think about it. Why do you think we would struggle to put that suction on? Why wouldn't suction work as effectively, if you like, for grabbing that rear section there? Yeah, so have a little think about that one. So what you'll find with these little bits of hair all sticking out is, to get a good suction grip, the suction tube has to be able to firmly kind of plant onto the wax. Now, when you've got these little tiny hairs, what happens then is they kind of sit over the wax with a gap in. So as you try and put the suction tube on, they're not really getting that good suction grip. They're just kind of sucking around those little hairs. So that's why you wouldn't use suction quite as easily for those sort of deeper sections, but it's perfect for what we need to do here. So now remember we took that big scoop out the middle of the wax. Now we've got all this wax stuck to the base of the canal. Well, we can't really go under it with a Jobson horn and flick that up. So suction works really, really well for this. So we can go to the bottom of the wax where it's thicker, there's not so much hair in it, and we can lift from the canal wall. So you can see me trying to bring this up and into the face of the canal. So then once it's a bit more mobile, we can then go in with a Jobson horn and scoop forward. So we can take that section we've just lifted up, there we go, and we can scoop that out. And that's what we need to start doing now. We need to repeat that process. It's kind of rinse and repeat with this one now. So the next thing you're going to do is lift up the next section, drop behind it with a Jobson horn and do that again. You can see now we've managed to lift a little bit as we brought this out. So let's get rid of this section. There we go. That's a little bit of dry skin there. You can see that telltale kind of lighter material going over the top. Now we can still see, now this is that block I was telling you about. See how it's not quite got enough room above it to be able to accommodate the Jobson horn here. So we've got quite a sort of long sloping piece of wax, which is always more difficult to get out. So you'll see me now just trying to lift from the base. Now I know this piece of wax is obviously attached at the base somewhere. So we need to start probing around the bottom of this wax here. You can see I'm lifting from one side, from the other, just trying to detach it. It's so firmly attached here at the bottom, and it's deceiving just how much wax is down in that area. So as we lift now, there we are, what we've done is effectively that slanted piece has now come upright. But if we try and push the Jobson horn in there, we're just going to drop it back down. So I've opted to go back in with the suction tube here, aim at the base of this pillar of wax, if you like, and then lift from that pillar, break that kind of adhesion to the canal wall, which we're just doing there. And as we bring this out, then we can see that dark plug is just, there we go, come away. So we've broken the bottom section. I think there's another piece sitting just behind, there we go. So this is actually the top portion that you could see slanting up that we kept hitting with the Jobson horn. So let's bring that up. You can see just the number of hairs embedded into this wax. And then we just need to get this last section. Let's lift this off the canal wall. Now, is that going to come away? It doesn't look like it. So let's just fold it forwards. Let's see how far back this goes. Not too far. Perfect then for the Jobson horn. Let's get over the top. We could fight with this for a long time, but otherwise what we can do is just roll this. There we go. Out that popped really quickly. It was kind of blink and you miss it then. And we've got these last couple of pieces left. So let's just scoop these last couple of pieces away as well. Just drop down behind there. There we go, out that one comes, and we'll drop down, let's take a look, there we go. So there's the eardrum looking nice and healthy. So this is what it looked like before, this is what it looks like after. Massive, look how much came away. That's 4 centimeters, 1.75 inches of anybody's money of wax there. And I haven't laid that end to end, I've kind of bunched it all together. So there was so much came out of this patient's ear. So it's hardly surprising they couldn't hear a thing with that as well. But patient very relieved to get that done. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over. Next week, bear with me next week. I'm not too sure whether we'll get any videos next week. I've got a lot of running around to do in clinic. I'm off for a couple of days as well. But if we do, great. So I may see you next week. If not, I'll definitely see you the week after, guys. But I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know what's happening. All right then, guys. Well, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye, everyone.